It's 9 a.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the work session of the Limestone County Commission. Ellen, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, first thing on the agenda for today will be to approve the minutes from December the 5th of 2022. Does anybody have any issues with anything on the minutes? All right, moving on. Next thing will be to approve claims in the amount of $1,471,136.99. Anybody got any issues with any claim paid? All right, no public hearings, report, resolutions, orders. First on here, we'll have approve a resolution authorizing to execute an MOU between the Forever Wild Land Trust and the Limestone County Commission to receive an annual payment from the Forever Wild Land Trust, where their lands are owned by the Forever Wild Land Trust located in Limestone County. Anybody got any issue with that or any discussion with that? All right, next on here will be to approve a resolution authorizing the renewal of its participation in the liability fund for the calendar year of 2024 through 2026. Anybody got any issues with that? All right, next thing, contracts, agreements, and grants and MOUs. First on here will be to approve to enter into a MOU between the Alabama Forever Wild Land Trust and the Limestone County Commission. That is tied to the first resolution. On anybody got any discussion with that?
I would. The way I read that, we don't have to do anything. We just take their money.
Yeah, it's for the land that Forever Wild owns. Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All we got to do.
We have to submit an invoice, I believe. That's
yeah,
all.
$729. Probably took more paperwork than $700, but there's no. We don't do anything other than take their money.
No, that's
good. Yeah.
Their portion of what they're giving back. All right, number 2 on here. Any more discussion with that before we go any further?
Good.
All right, number 2 on here will be to approve an Emergency Management Agency fiscal year 2022 Emergency Management Performance Grant and cooperative agreement in the amount of $42,266. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right, number 3 on here will be to approve an agreement between the Tracking Solutions and the Limestone County Commission effective October the 1st, 2022 and ending September the 30th of 2022. Does anybody have any discussion with that? But I'm going to say that's supposed to be 2023.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I would say that's probably a typo in there.
What exactly is that for?
It's for ankle monitoring and stuff like that.
Okay. What is the cost per monitor? Do you know?
I'd have to look back at the agreement and the grant.
The sheriff knows.
I don't think the sheriff would know probably. Do you know the cost per unit on that ankle monitor tracking stuff?
This is through a grant.
Yeah, it's through a grant that we apply for. It's just for a grant, but it's a lot of it goes through the juvenile detention program and stuff. I'll have to get you.
Well, I was just thinking that, our jail's full, and I didn't know how that was utilized by the court system to save jail spaces.
Most of this goes through either like community corrections or the juvenile detention thing. So I can find out that.
I don't have any problem with it. I was just wondering if we were utilizing it to the fullest to save the jail space.
Most of these are juveniles.
Yeah, most of them go through the juvenile detention diversion program over out of Collier. But anyway, anybody got more discussion with that? All right, number 4 will be to approve a contract with Axon Enterprises for the tasers and taser equipment and licenses for all costs for the same, which will be paid for through the sheriff's office. Anybody got a discussion with that?
We sample it on you?
Not really. It make me flop like a fish. That's what they'd say. I think we'll try it out on you, big guy. Yeah, well, I'm gonna lay off of that. I'm gonna miss that day. If we have any more discussion with that. All right, 5 on here will be to approve a preventative maintenance visit agreement with Pax Lunam Labs LLC for maintenance for the courthouse colored lighting program, and that's for the lights on the courthouse. They just preventative maintenance program. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right, number 6 will be to approve participation agreement between the ACCA Liability Self-Insurance Fund Incorporated and the Limestone County Commission. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right, moving on, we got 3 budget revisions on here today. The budget revisions listed below is for Pryor Street, it's for $1,600, and for the District 3 shed, they've been doing some work down there, and they already had some money we had to add to it for the $15,000 there, and then the be coming out of the solid waste recycling stuff. We're finally getting started on getting our recycling project working up here, and it'll be for that total cost of $75,000 on that. So, anybody got any discussion with any one of the 3?
Yeah. Do you have a break? What are we doing on the? I guess the recycling is at the L&S property.
Yes, that's what it
got
is.
A breakdown of what we're doing there.
Well, some of it is for rock and
or what?
I think Hunter can probably lead to that.
So Danny, I mean, what they did was basically go in there and build a model so that it'll drain to that low spot down there on the far south end, just like a digital model of the site and whatnot. So that was kind of something the city had asked us that we would go ahead and prepare before we started that project. And so Grayson Carter and Son hired a contractor, Merrill Engineering, to develop that model and whatnot. And then they went in there and they're going to cut, the high spots of it down where it'll all drain to that south end down there. And then we had kind of a change on the material type we were using. We went with a larger rock just because we're going to probably have some garbage trucks parked up there and whatnot for a little while at least, while everything kind of gets lined up with that. So we went with a larger size rock, and then they're going to cap that on top with the crusher run that's already up there. So that's when we had to add a little increase to the original number, was for the additional rock that's going to be purchased to put up there.
Okay.
So we're leveling and covering the site.
What's the breakdown on cost?
So about $25,000 of it's going to be for the larger number 24 size rock, and then as far as what Grayson Carter and Sons total invoice price is, I haven't gotten that yet, but it's not to exceed $50,000.
And that will include the Morrell engineering portion.
That would include the engineering,
and the
design, and all that stuff done, as well as labor material.
Yeah, the city had asked us to do a stormwater research, and we had to dig a little retention, all of us to drain to that one area back there, which we had already kind of thought that process over when we started this the first time when we were going to build up there. So,
did it require unique skills to?
Well, I mean, we just don't have the equipment or the software systems or anything to really develop those type models. I mean, we're more of a check-in engineering firm rather than a developing engineering firm, if you know what I mean. We're more quality control than we are actually producing that type of stuff. So, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the only problem I have with it is, we've discussed what to do with that property, and now we're spending money on it. I mean, I didn't know all this was going to take place, but, I guess we still up in the air as to what to do with the property, right?
well, that's what we have had conversations, what we'd do with that piece of property. And one of the things that we're going to do for the present time is the bottom corner of it will be used for recycling and also parking garbage trucks and stuff until we get somewhere to go, because you got to have a fenced-in lot to go behind there.
Okay.
And the bottom half of it will be for that. And then eventually, we have looked at where we would do with, if we ever had to go animal control, if we had to do this, we had to do that. I think the piece of property to us is just more valuable for us to hold on to it right at the moment, because for future growth, and you don't find 7 acres of land in the city limits of Athens very often, that kind of has a blank sheet of paper to where you can do with it what you need to do. So,
I would like for us to look at putting an animal shelter there if that's feasible. I think that's going to be a problem that we need to address, is an animal shelter.
Well, one of the things, we have discussed that, and while we're kind of on that, we got put into the garbage business by, somebody retiring, in our animal shelter. I mean, Dr. Pittman's done it a long time, and and all that, but Dr. Pittman's age and all that is there too. So we've got to look at what we're going to go. And I know we've had conversations with the sheriff about it and other people. We've got to start looking at a plan to what we would do, because one of these days that's probably going to be put on us just like everything else. Like Steve Gatton. Steve Gatton done a great job with the garbage all these years and all, but when Steve decides to retire, he's going to retire. And the same way with Dr. Pittman. And Dr. Pittman's also had a few health issues and all this, that, and the other. So we better be really. We signed another contract with him year to year, but we have less than a year now because the time's ticking. It's sort of, I mean, every day goes by, it's one less day to have a plan in place, and so, and that's something we've all got to look at. I mean, because that will be on us someday. It's a responsibility by law that we have to obtain. We have to have that service. So, and that's one of the reasons that I would hate to even think about. We've had people approach us about buying a piece of property and things like this, that, and the other. But as the county grows, we will have to have places to expand.
I think that would be a good location for an animal shelter.
And even though doing the site work on this, even later down the road, if you elected to do something different with it, we already have a site plan. It's already leveled and ready to go. So it has we've already done the work on this property, and I know that the recycling program is something that it's kind of took a little longer to get started. We wanted to, but we've been up in Giles County has a program to where they have a drive-through center, and that was just kind of what we modeled that after, and we thought that was, just fitting for the time being, until we could do better. So any more discussion?
Well, these improvements are going to have to be made to it probably before you can ever get rid of it anyway, but, it's to make use of it, you're going to have to do these, but I would have liked to known a little more what was going on when I saw the equipment setting up there,
And I'm not in Mark in here today, but I know Mark has worked this project we've talked this project a pretty good while now, and I know that he has worked with Grayson Carter and stuff on it. I don't know, and Mark had got them all lined up to do it, and we had talked about doing it ourselves, but the issue that we have is any construction company's got laser level equipment and all this, that, and the other. They can grade it at a whole lot better grade than we can. So that's just kind of like I said, I wish Mark was here today. He could alleviate more toward the whole project, but he was. This is. I mean, we've talked that we've actually. I think y'all went up there once and leveled some of it up better than it was, and I appreciate y'all doing that.
Yeah, we had to take out foundations and everything else on that other project.
And they're actually taking out down to the edge of the road, and people they're going to try to get it to where it's a whole lot better drainage system there. So.
Okay.
All righty.
I just this morning I come by there and all that rock we've got sitting out there. I wondered what the issue was with not using it.
Yeah, I think when they originally talked, I think it was probably back in September or something like that. At that time, we were thinking it was primarily going to be just used for like a drive-through recycling area. Well, since then the county's gone into the garbage business, and 3 inches of crusher run, I probably just wouldn't have held up to a garbage truck.
Well, that explains not.
Yes, sir.
I just
adding a little more strength to it.
Rock on site, and
like I said, they'll end up using the crusher run too. Just they won't use as much of it because I think they were thinking at one point like 5 to 6 inches of crusher run, and now we'll probably do like a 3 to 4 inches of a number 2 layer, and then come back on top of that with crusher run to finish.
Okay. And not only that too, I've thought about it, a lot of other ways. It'd be nice to have a nice fenced-in lot to where we can lock stuff up in town, especially if you sell something on Gov Deals or whatever. Even if we didn't use it for that, you'd have a nice fenced-in lot to where you could put something there and they could pick up from that one location instead of, all over the county and this, that, and the other. So.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? And I apologize if I didn't, about not knowing all about the rock stuff. So.
Yeah. I saw the equipment being moved in, but I thought the city was going to do some sewer work or something up through there. So,
and like I said, Mark's on vacation. I'm not. Okay. But he was. Well, I had to ask a few questions myself. Hunter, I was gone too, and Hunter called me several times asking me questions about it too. So.
Yeah, I think we're all behind the curve, maybe.
All right.
All right. Any more discussion with any one of the budget revisions? All right. No emergency purchases, board appointments. We do have one appointment here to the 911 board. Mr. Derek Gatlin has agreed to take that position, and for a number of years, I want to stop right there a minute and thank Mr. Frank Travis. He was on that board for a lot of times. He passed away. He was a city council member, and that'll be good to have somebody from the county that actually represents on that board. Mr. Frank done a fantastic job, and he lost the battle to cancer last year, but I know Frank has served on it a lot of years, and the board appointment came up, and Derek had asked me about it, and I think it'll be good to have some. So you got anything to say about it?
Drew, do I need to abstain on that vote, or would it matter?
I'm sorry?
Do I need to abstain on that vote, or would it matter?
It's my understanding it's an unpaid board position, and I don't think there's going to be an issue with that.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
I think Derek's an excellent candidate. He already knows about the system, and
I've been around a few years, part of it anyways.
A year or two, and
Part of the service, yes.
I'm grateful that you have taken so many non-paying jobs in your career.
Look where it got me today. So,
Yeah.
Right.
You like me, I've got plenty of non-paying board positions.
That's right.
But it is, and I want to thank everybody else on that board. I know that is a great board. It's a lot of great guys on that board. So I just want to thank everybody else who does serve on that board. But Derek, thank you for stepping up and taking a position on that. All right, any more discussion with Derek taking the 911 board? All right, we have a couple of bids to award here. One is for video systems for the sheriff's office for court calls, and it's $21,600 per year, and with a 3-year contract of $64,800. And then we have printers and tag materials notices for the license commission so anybody for $9,500. Anybody got any discussion with either one of those?
Is that where your guys don't have to take them to court, Sheriff? Is that?
Essentially, that's what it'd be like that.
Is that used? Is that used?
It's used throughout the state of Alabama. We have to get it from our court system.
We use it in our judges use that system. Oh, we don't have it. It's a new addition to us. And the judge is good with it.
We want to sit down and talk with them. We've been in discussions with them. We want to sit down and see, find something.
Right.
One of the things I know, and Sheriff can allude to this, back during the COVID virus, we kind of did do some video court stuff, and it really streamlined everything and made things so much easier, because people don't understand, if we transport an inmate from the jail up here, if you transport a male and a female, you have to have a corrections officer of both kinds. And I mean, so with that being said, this will alleviate a lot of, time up there. So, I mean, so that would be, I think it'd be a valuable asset added to our sheriff's office plus our court system too. Any other discussion? And I know Joseph, you got anything to discuss for your license tag printings? All right, thank you, sir. All right, any more discussion on that? All right, next on here will be to approve to hire Heath Black as Assistant Engineer PE effective January the 9th, 2023, pending a drug screening. Anybody got discussion with Heath? And this is a position that we've had open for a long time, and for the, we really add a lot of value to us, and the state reimburses us 50% of the salary of an assistant engineer, so that's it won't cost the county but 50%. So, any more discussion with that? All right, and second on here will be to approve to transfer Stuart Fontenot from corrections officer to patrol deputy effective 12/19 of 2022. Anybody got a discussion with him? Okay. Now is he going to the academy, Sheriff?
Yes, sir. We were able to get him.
Okay, I know I was up this morning. They said they had some going to go to the academy, so good deal. That's a good thing. Start out and move your way up. That's a good way to do it. So, congratulate him on this promotion. All right, and then the next one will be to approve to transfer Travis Alstead, which is AKA Petey to everybody. I think everybody knows him as Petey. So, Petey will be going from Equipment Operator 2 to Equipment Operator 3 in District 3. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right. We have merit increases. We have several listed below. Anybody got any discussion with anybody on a merit increase? All right, moving on. Engineers report. Hunter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We just have one on the subdivision approval list for y'all today. It's a replat of Anna Acres Estates Track 1, minor subdivision for preliminary and final. Be taking one lot and creating 2 lots out of it in District 3, south side of Moyers Road, approximately 2,000 feet east of Lucas Ferry Road. And that is all.
All right. Anybody got anything else for Hunter? He's representing our engineer today that is out on vacation.
I guess those high interest rates are cutting the building down, ain't they?
That, probably holidays too. I feel like we usually have a little slowdown around this time of year, but
And the weather.
yeah, and rain and
Let's
all
blame it on the interest rate. Okay?
We'll go with that then.
All right. That'd be fun.
I know I've had several conversations with people in the lumber business and stuff, and they're saying that they are kind of seeing a little slowdown. It is a kind of a little slowdown in there. A lot of it is, the way they was explaining to me it was the size of the house was kind of shrinking because the price had to stay about the same, and the interest rate and all that had to keep the payment about the same. So, but anyways, anything else? Nobody else got anything else for Hunter? All right, other business, and this is something that I asked to put on there, and we can go with it or not go with it. Approved for the county offices to be closed on Friday, December the 23rd, 2022, for celebration of the Christmas holidays. We have done this in the past. I know Morgan County will be closed Friday. I checked around, you know, the touching counties. Some of the ones will close Friday, some won't. This is totally a decision, but it's going to be mighty cold Friday, and most everybody's going to take off anyways, and so it's totally up to y'all on that. If anybody got any input on it, let me know.
So this will give our employees 4-day weekend, right?
Yes, it will, and you know, like I said, 75% of the employees is capable of taking off, and will take off Friday anyways, I think. So, and it's like I said, I know we're not going to be able to do any kind of construction work Friday because I think 8-degree weather. They're hauling Friday to wrap up and stay warm, and so. And I know when the license commission office, especially, I went out and talked with Joseph. You know, he'll have some. You know, he can't let everybody off, and I know he's probably had several requests of people wanting off and can't get off, and so I mean, this is. I mean, like I said, it's some places give Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, some doesn't. We follow the state holiday. This would be an extra holiday that would be voted on. I know the governor always a lot of times votes and gives the day after Thanksgiving. So this would be, if y'all want to go with it, it's fine. If you want to take it off, that's fine. Y'all let us know either way. Any discussion? All right, moving on. Then we got one item removed from inventory here, and this is for the council and agent. This is for a minivan. I'm sure to go to Gov Deals. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right, and the third item on here, Mark called me Friday, and we had this conversation, and I think he touched base with all of y'all on this idea. But Mark well, that might not have been Friday. I think it was Wednesday. He touched base with us on it. The issue is here, we've got, would be third item on here be to approve 10 16-foot stamped truck beds and the dump truck beds through the ACCA joint bid program. And what the issue is we bought our trucks in the first round of this year. And for us to get the truck beds for our trucks, we have to approve that, we had to say that we're going to buy 10 truck beds. Well, if we don't prove, you know, we're not, it's nothing to, you know, we'll be seeking finance and all that at the same time, but I mean, we will not buy these beds or nothing until we get the trucks. But we just have to put our name on the list with Oxbody. If we don't, we'll have to go with a different brand of bed. And we've had Oxbody's beds and state, that's what the ACCA joint bid is. And so we just have to say that, hey, we're going to take 10 truck beds for trucks. And we're just proving this and to say that, hey, they'll go ahead and order us 10 truck beds.
But all this cost is included with the price.
Yes, it'll all go with the trucks. This is just a simple, we just have to tell Oxbody, well, we have to tell Truckworks that we buy, we're actually
Childersburg Truck Service.
Childersburg, yeah. We'll have to tell Childersburg that we're buying the truck beds, and so they will go ahead and start producing the truck beds in this first round of the first quarter of the year. If they don't, we wind up with no truck beds and trucks. So that's all this is, and it'll all become financed in one package. It'll all be the same deal. It's just, but we just have to order them. So, anybody got any issue with that? And I think Mark briefed all of y'all, just kind of explained y'all what that was. So
I'd like a minute when you.
All right, yeah. Through. And you'll just wait and do it in your public reports in the commission meeting.
Well, either way.
I think that's the way we got that set up. Yeah. You'll just do it at the public March commission meeting. All right, and then so that we have no executive session. We will recess for 15 minutes, and we will be back in here in about 15 minutes. Let's see here.